Family is the closest thing you have in life, right? That's what I always believed, especially when it came to my grandma. She basically raised me while my parents worked all the time. I stayed with her every summer growing up. She made me feel safe. I trusted her. So when she had a stroke and no one found out for 2 whole days, we were devastated. She lived alone, and it could have been so much worse. We were lucky, we told ourselves. She recovered in the hospital for a while, and when she was finally discharged, my parents decided I would go stay with her for a few weeks, to help her around the house, cook, clean, whatever she needed. And I agreed, because it felt like the right thing to do. It felt normal. But the thing is, nothing that happened after that was normal. I arrived at her place on a Tuesday afternoon. A little cottage near the edge of the woods. Familiar. Quiet. She was in bed when I got there. Said the hospital made her tired. But what I wasn't expecting was the bandages. Her whole face was wrapped. Just these narrow slits for her eyes and mouth. I asked about it, and she said it was part of the treatment. That it helped with nerve pain. That she didn't want to talk about it. And she said it like she meant it. Her voice was weird. Like flat. Emotionless. Not even raspy or hurt. Just cold. She wouldn't let me help her change the dressings. Said she could manage on her own. I thought, okay, fine, maybe she's embarrassed. But then I started noticing other things, quiet things. She stopped calling me by my name, just said you, or kid. She forgot details, my age, my job, even where I lived. But she remembered everything else. Her bank account number, her Wi-Fi password. What day the trash went out. One night, I caught her watching me from the hallway, just standing there, completely still. I asked if she needed anything. She just turned and walked away. I tried calling my mom. My phone was dead, wouldn't turn on. The charger was gone. So I borrowed Grandma's landline, but every time I dialed, the call just wouldn't go through. When I confronted her, she said, "If you're going to be paranoid in my house, maybe you should leave." And then she laughed. It didn't sound like her laugh. It sounded like someone imitating it, like a stranger who had studied it but couldn't quite get it right. I packed a bag that night, but I couldn't find my car keys. And when I tried to leave on foot, the woods felt wrong, too quiet, and no matter which path I took, I ended up back at the front steps. A few days later, she slipped on the stairs. I found her at the bottom, completely still, but when I leaned in to check if she was breathing, her hands shot up and grabbed mine. Her grip was ice cold. She stared at me and whispered, "Do you miss her?" I froze. "Miss who?" I asked. She smiled, again too wide, and said, "The woman who used to live here. She liked you." I yanked my hand away and ran to the bathroom, locked the door, hyperventilated for like 10 minutes. When I finally looked in the mirror, I saw her standing in the hallway behind me. But when I opened the door, she wasn't there. I was done playing along. I was done pretending this was okay. That night, I waited for her to fall asleep, or at least pretend to. I crept into her room and opened her closet. I'd searched it before, but this time I pulled everything out. And behind a row of old coats, I found something I wish I hadn't. A duffel bag. Inside, a wig, makeup wipes, gauze, scissors, a burner phone, a wrinkled photo of my mom, not from a frame, a printed photo, like one you'd find online. No ID, no medication, no hospital discharge papers. I felt sick. Then I heard it. Footsteps behind me. I turned, and she was there, watching me with that same flat, unreadable stare. "You went through my things," she said, calm. "I want to know who you are," I said, holding the photo up, "because you're not my grandma." Silence. Then she said something I'll never forget. She was weak. I'm not. She stepped forward. I stepped back. We ended up in the hallway, facing each other in the narrow, dim space between bedrooms. "You're just some woman," I said. "You moved in here, took her place. Why? Why me?" She smiled. Not unhinged, just cold, controlled. "Because you believed it," she said. "Everyone's too busy, too trusting. You didn't even question it until now." I raised the knife I'd been carrying for days. She didn't flinch. "Go ahead," she said, "but ask yourself something first. How sure are you? What if I am her? What if the stroke changed everything? Her memory, her voice, her face. She leaned in. What if you're about to kill your own grandmother? That broke me. I froze. My hands started shaking. She stepped back, slow and quiet, into the shadows of the hallway, and for a moment, I almost let her go. But then I saw it. On her arm, poking out of the bandage. A small tattoo. Faded but clear. A prison tattoo. My grandmother never had tattoos. She charged at me. No scream, no warning, just sudden, terrifying movement. Like she'd been waiting for this moment, saving her strength. We slammed into each other in the narrow hallway. I dropped the photo and clutched the knife tighter. She grabbed my wrist, nails digging into my skin so deep I felt blood. "I took care of you!" she shrieked, her voice no longer calm, but raw, feral. "I fed you. I was her." I slammed her into the wall, tried to break free, but she was strong. Way too strong for someone who'd supposedly just had a stroke. She tried to wrestle the knife from my hand. She didn't want to kill me. She wanted to convince me, to be her. "You needed me," she hissed. "You still do. You're nothing without her." I headbutted her, hard. Felt my nose crack. Her grip loosened, just enough. I slashed. Not deep, but enough to make her stumble. Her bandages tore across her face. I finally saw her. Not a monster, not a creature, just a woman. A stranger with dead eyes and a practiced smile. Someone who had studied my grandma down to the finest detail. The shape of her lips, the way she walked, how she stirred her tea. But she wasn't her. She never could be. I kicked her in the stomach and ran. She grabbed my leg and I fell, hard, head hitting the wood. Dazed, dizzy. She crawled over me, straddling my chest, pinning my arms. Blood from her mouth dripped onto mine. "Don't leave me," she whispered. That voice, calm again, too calm. It was like she switched masks. A sweet version, the one I wanted to believe. "Please," she said, "you still need me." I looked into her eyes, and I saw it. Not grief, not love, just emptiness. She never cared about me. I was just her audience, a stage, a life to wear like a costume. I used my knee, slammed it up into her ribs. She gasped, fell sideways. I scrambled out from under her, grabbed the knife, and without even thinking, stabbed it through her shoulder. She screamed, human, real, no illusions. I left her on the floor bleeding, locked her in the house, and ran to the neighbors barefoot and shaking. This time, she didn't follow. Police arrested her. Real name? No one knows. Fake ID, disguises. She'd done this before, multiple times. Always older women, always vulnerable families. They found a journal in the attic. Notes, photos, mannerisms, handwriting practice. She'd studied my grandma for months. She'd planned this. The authorities called it a case of identity theft, mental illness, maybe even a cult background. But me? I don't care what they call it. She lived in my house, wore my memories, slept in the bed of the woman I loved most. That's something I'll never forgive, and never forget. That's the end of my story. My grandma is dead, and we still don't know where her body is. I hope this didn't happen to anyone else, but if it did, we could talk and trauma bond over it in the comments. Please subscribe to this channel and like the video. I hope you enjoyed and have a scary night.